Hey, Brendan here. I'm going to do an extremely concise run through of Creed's Codex, Arcane Secrets of the Summoners. So I think this will give you a good overview of what's in the book, answer questions on maybe whether you want to pick it up or not, and ideally give you some inspiration for your games. So, starting at the top here, we've got our introduction running through of some history of the Summoners. We can dive right into the class itself. So very standard run through of the table 1 through level 20, kind of bringing all these different features online. Then the big piece here is that summon creature, and the way that this one works is that you're using your action to control your creatures. It's a bonus action to summon, action to control, and they don't use spell slots for this. They're using points. Think more closely to like a sorcerer or a monk, where they've got their points that come back on a short rest, because without the summoner is really not all that powerful. And the whole concept here is to have a really powerful summon and not destroy action economy or the balance within the game, and make sure your DM lets you actually play it at the table. It has to be in line with everyone else. So because of that, the summoner is using their action to control the summon rather than doing something else. I did stick in here a huge list of bonus actions and reactions and other things they can do so that you still feel like you have a lot of agency, but since you're controlling an entire another creature, it's not like there's a shortage of things to do, especially with like the flexibility they've got with being able to bring stuff online. And it's not limited to like beasts or anything like that. The way it's structured is to have you have a number of points required per CR level. I can jump back to that real quick. So you can see here, so this is just kind of the general gist. 1 point for half CR or less, 2 points for CR 1 or less, etc. All right, subclasses real quick. Archon, this is more of a martial focused one. They summon this Titan Fist, pushing them 30 feet. Pretty sweet. Colossus, as you can guess by the name, have enormous summons. Convergent, they are a bit of the wild card, so they don't know exactly what they're bringing forth. Evolutionist, this one is closely aligned to the Eidolon from Pathfinder, with the idea being as you level up, you get these adaptation points. You can use those to kind of pick up and customize your creature. Hive Mind, this is for those of you that want multiple creatures. The base summoner can only do 2 creatures at a time. So with Hive Mind, their stuff starts kicking up at level 6, where they can bring 3 creatures online. Level 14, they can bring 4, and then at level 18, they can bring 5. So that's the one you want if you want like those hordes. Horrifier, they merge with their summon, and they have a few of these things called tears to give some CC control. Shadow has some unique options here where they can choose their summon to become their shadow, which gives them a bunch of benefits, and they can have the shadow absorb some damage, some teleportation, magical illusions, things like that. Then we run into the force augments. You can think of these kind of similar to the Eldritch Invocations, with a ability as you pick them up to kind of specialize how you want your creatures and yourself to function. Convergence table is one of the, in my opinion, one of the coolest parts of this class. There's a few feats and other things you can pick up to let you tap into this, but the idea here is when you use this power, it increases how many summoning points you've spent by 1. So if you spend 3 points, all of a sudden you spent 4 if you've tapped this power. But you then have to roll a D100 and something amazing happens. But whether it is good or bad is very dependent on what you roll. So the mental formulation, my face is sticking over this. We'll pretend I am this person. So this is a quick run through of all of the different creatures you can get by default. So I didn't want people to have the issue of, oh, I can summon a CR2 creature now, but we actually haven't faced a CR2 creature. We've only faced CR1, CR half, and CR3. So I'm kind of screwed. So this is a way to get around that, where you always have a creature you can summon. There's always something to do. And you never hit that level where you're like kind of out of options. So that was the general idea there. I did find that there would be this fun idea for these combined summons where if there's multiple summoners in your party, they can work together to bring forth like a super strong creature. I thought that'd be kick-ass. So we went ahead and built some rules for that. And we did some evolutionist builds. Idea being here where if you want some ideas on sort of themes and concepts you could pull together, these are all the pieces you could pull from the different mechanics in here to go ahead and build that. And then we did end up having a vote on what other class should end up with a summoner-infused subclass, if you will. So we ended up with the Spirit. So this is a Warlock patron, and their whole shtick is bringing forth these like kick-ass totems, where those totems are CC or damage or healing or what have you. So offensive, defensive, utility, and then they can eventually bring forth their patron as the summon onto the field for a short period. We got some exotic armor and some weapons here with some fun properties on there. I also gave some options on how to craft this material. And then we've got symbiotic equipment options. The idea here was, how do you put together some equipment that levels up with you? And did a quick rundown here of this is how it could work with 2 examples, and then some suggestions on how to build your own. And so there's this companion collar, where this is a feat path that anyone could take, even summoner, and this lets you bring forth a creature, and kind of keeps leveling up in power if you keep going down this path and picking up those extra feats as you level. We've got a bunch of spells in here. Let's jump over to level 1 here, is Uncontrollable Undead. So in my opinion, there is a huge shortage of fun to use summoning spells. So the way this one works is you have no control over it. You just bring another creature onto the field. You are putting it where you want, and hopefully you're taking out the enemies rather than your own guys. But you also don't have total control over what you're bringing forth. So you may end up bringing something that's way too strong, and then you have a lot of challenges. And let's call it. All right. Hope this gave you everything you need. And if you have questions, feel free, ask. And I hope to see you on the campaign. All right. Take care.